Hey guys, and welcome to our review of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Directed by David Yates, starring Eddie Redmayne, Johnny Depp, Jude Law.
Oh, sorry.
Don't do that. Ezra Miller, Catherine Waterston, Dan Fogler, Alison Sudol, Zoe Kravitz, Callum Turner, and Claudia Kim. My name is Scott Ellis. I'm joined here by Tyler Switolski.
Hey guys, I'm okay with this movie. I don't have any sort of.
You're not too excited. Were you excited?
Do
you like any of the actors in it?
Eddie Redmayne's pumped out some pretty good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Johnny Depp.
Also joining us is Peter Baragenis.
What's going on?
Welcome.
Thank you.
First time.
Pleasure to be here.
Sweet.
And Phil Clark.
Hi. Is that how you say
Welcome.
your last name?
Thank you.
And Adam Franey.
Yep.
As usual.
As usual.
So Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald picks up where the last one left off, I guess, following Newt Scamander, and we get to see Albus Dumbledore. Grindelwald is doing some crimes, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd say more misdemeanors, I'd
Is he?
say.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. Well,
The misdemeanors.
We'll get to it. Ty, let's start with you.
Me.
What do you think of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald?
start with Ty.
I thought it was pretty good.
That was not glowing. Doesn't sound glowing.
Not glowing.
Pretty good.
Sorry, you did know Johnny Depp is in this movie.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
There we go.
There, he was great.
Beasts?
Yeah.
Crimes of Grindelwald?
The one problem I had with this movie was that it seemed like it was kind of jumping all over the place. It didn't seem like everyone was kind of on the same page as to, like, character-wise.
The teleporting spell they do. They, like, jump to a different spot. Apparate, thank you.
Yeah, it just felt like everyone was just kind of, like, doing, like, their own kind of thing. Like, it didn't really feel like all the character stories were kind of tying together. Everyone was kind of going in different directions. So I find that kind of distracting. A lot of characters. I feel like timelines were okay. Pretty straightforward. I thought.
So okay with that?
There was a little bit of flashbacks, with the Mirror of Erised and all that stuff. That was fine. But a little Formel. But other than that, I think that I enjoyed it. That was like the one big problem I had with it. It's just like everyone seemed to be going in their own direction.
Right.
But other than that, I thought cast was great. Newt was good.
Was it too slice of life? Or would you say?
Don't be ridiculous. It was not
And the
too
colors?
The colors.
How were the colors?
The colors were great. The score was fantastic, I thought. Johnny Depp, I think,
and
like
9 times almost.
I'm going to give you an unbiased opinion on Johnny Depp's character.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be unbiased.
Sure.
Yeah. I thought he was great. I did. I thought, like, honestly,
unbiased.
It is 100% unbiased. 100% unbiased.
Impossible to be unbiased. First of all, I just want to put
Hang on. You're wearing his very bangles. Okay.
All right. Did I get a copy of his tattoo? Maybe. But okay. So I thought he really gave 100% on it. Like, and there were parts where he was like, it was acting, and it was creepy. Like I think he did a really good job.
Creep.
He did a very good. Fuck you. He did a really good job, I think.
Okay. We'll see if we agree.
Wow. Pete, let's jump over to you. What do you think about Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald?
Yeah, I think
you're a Potterhead, right?
I actually wanted to say I think bias is the perfect term to jump off because I want to preface by saying I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and so bias really plays a factor. I thought.
In what?
I thought this movie was an abomination of the franchise.
There's only been 2 of them.
I really do. I think it was disgusting.
I think the Harry Potter franchise.
I mean the world.
To the
Wizarding World.
Gotcha. Okay.
Of Harry Potter.
I don't know what happened. I don't remember the last time wizards were able to use spells without actually pronouncing the incantation.
They can.
High level wizards.
Yeah.
I just found that everybody in this movie was godlike, and not only that, but it just didn't make sense. It was jumping all over the place. I found, I agree with you there. I found that there wasn't. I thought Johnny Depp was okay. I thought Jude Law was maybe the best character in the movie, but that's just because he's playing the best character of the franchise, arguably.
So you only liked him because he was playing a character that you like?
Yeah, and
Scott,
I think
I need you to move out so that before I kill him.
And what I especially don't like is that this movie basically just looked to play off my nostalgia of the Harry Potter movies.
Right. Cheat
You know,
codes.
Like,
cheat
oh,
codes.
McGonagall's
Yeah,
there. Oh,
when I
Dumbledore.
hear that little piano intro, yeah, you got me. You made me purchase the ticket, but
Right.
from there I was really disappointed.
A little shot of Hogwarts might get you going.
Yeah, that was
It
the
did.
best scene of the movie.
We're losing them.
I forgot.
Give them the nostalgia boost.
Yeah.
So even though the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher just walked out to meet this delegation by himself, no other staff of Hogwarts, just happened to be Dumbledore, who
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah,
headmaster
yeah,
at the time.
yeah,
Weird, right?
yeah. It makes no sense.
Yeah, bizarre. Phil, let's jump over to you. What do you think of Fantastic Beasts?
So you loved it. Just
Oh yeah, no, I
Okay.
loved it.
Very disappointed. I watched the first one about a week and a half ago
I
for
did
the
as well.
first time. Not, like I didn't see it in theater, saw it on Netflix, which I thought was a great like ad plug. Like put the first one on Netflix,
Right
let
before,
people
yeah.
watch it.
Right.
Then when they get hyped, they see the new ones
Genius.
coming out. They get hyped for it.
Yeah.
Did you think the first one was good?
I was very shocked at the first one because when I saw the trailers, I thought this looks terrible, and then I watched it and I was like, that was actually like quite enjoyable. Surprised, I was like engaged. I have a problem with that one that translated into this one, which I'll get into later. But this movie was so busy and confusing, and the first one
Convoluted.
Yeah,
Convoluted.
that's a great word.
Good
Very
word.
Unnecessarily
so that's
complex.
There was a point where I was literally like, why are all these people here? Okay, we'll just move on. I
Mhm.
guess we don't have to talk about
Like,
it.
how did they get there, kind of thing?
Yeah. Then
They apparated.
what else? I had another issue I was going to bring up. I don't know. I just
We'll get to
wasn't
it.
was not.
Someone will hit it.
Someone's gonna hit it. I don't know. I had high hopes, and this was underwhelming of my high hopes. But it wasn't just that; it was just bad.
I mean, that's
It was just
agreeing with
bad.
the sentiment out there. I mean, it's making a lot of money worldwide right now, but
critical.
it's at about 40%. I want to say on our Rotten Tomatoes. So less than stellar for a
Pretty
Harry Potter
mixed.
film.
Pretty mixed.
Less than half.
I bet it's the lowest. I would venture to say.
So we got
100%.
okay,
No, I thought it was good.
good, abomination, disappointment. Adam, what do you think of
Oh, I'm next, am I?
The Crimes of Grindelwald?
Sweat boy.
I will literally jump over this table.
I thought the first one was fine, right? Just fine.
Just shit fine.
Mayonnaise.
This one I
Gulp.
thought looked good. I like the trailer.
The trailer was very
Visually.
good for this. Visually
Thank you,
stunning.
Phil.
That's what I thought when I saw the trailer. I was like, this movie looks visually stunning.
Then
so
I
much
saw
shit
the
on my
movie.
plate.
Yeah, and it's pretty bad. Gonna have to say it, Sweat. But you ready for this? It's not Johnny's fault, bud.
Yes!
Johnny was
Yes!
tolerable.
I'll take it.
Yep.
Yes!
Something I haven't said in 10 years.
Let's rate this bitch and get out of here.
You've
Fuck.
gotten your way.
We're
man.
done.
He got the W. Yeah, Johnny was fine.
Oh.
You know, he was fine. Which I thought he would be horrifically bad, but he was fine. Jude Law was good. I thought Dumbledore and Grindelwald are the only two characters that are interesting. I didn't like a single other character. I don't know.
I didn't think Grindlewald was interesting at all.
Well, I
Phil,
got
your time is done now.
Phil's.
I actually
There
totally
you go.
agree with Phil there.
Pete, your time is done now.
Let me give Switty a life jacket. A little
I'm the
bit.
bad guy.
Okay, come on, guys. JD's great. I'm with Switty.
Great.
No, he's not great. I thought Dumbledore was the best character. Like I said, he's the most interesting, along with Grindelwald. I did think was interesting. Jude Law was good. I really didn't like Newt Scamander. Again, I hate the insistence on centering it on him. Like I would really have rathered a Dumbledore Grindelwald movie rather than a Newt Scamander movie with a little Dumbledore.
A little seasoning there.
You know, I like I feel like also a bit lied to. Like, he really is almost not in it. Like, I think it's 3 scenes.
Too long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like a quick beginning scene, quick middle, quick end. Maybe not even at the end.
Yeah, he's at the end.
Sorry, I can't remember. Just literally saw it today. But
forgettable.
Don't like Credence, and I don't know why he's relevant.
I have a theory.
We'll get there.
I didn't know why he was relevant.
I think Ezra Miller's doing a good job being Credence. I don't think...
I don't have a problem with Ezra Miller. Everybody in this movie is talking about Credence. We got to get to this kid. He's the guy Grindlewald wants. And
we didn't get to see him a lot.
Yeah, I see a lot of potential in the character.
I could agree with that, but I didn't see it realized in this movie.
Not at all.
Yeah,
like,
not
I don't know what... And
I hated the forced interaction between Newt and Jacob. Like, it just felt so forced.
Yeah.
Jacob is...
terrible.
No match. The mother.
Oh, yeah. Why was he in the movie?
Just awful.
There was a lot of characters that I didn't know why they were in the movie.
Like, it felt like
because
he was just there.
They were in the one before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
now they must be in this one.
It's a
I
franchise.
understand.
That's what you have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't
True.
defeat and cut them out.
When it comes to these kinds of movies, it's best just not to ask those kinds of questions.
Right. Okay.
That's what you approach.
Fair.
Just kind of let your mind go blank and enjoy Johnny Depp on the big screen.
They did get me going back to Hogwarts with the theme, the musical theme and stuff. It's a cheat code, but it got me. It was a little gross. The buzzword sort of like, kids go and follow Professor McGonagall.
Yeah,
like
disgusting.
Looks at the camera, winks,
basically,
yeah.
right? And like I don't.
She's
don't
hiding,
like
and then
shit.
she undoes the curse, and then she she's like, "Shut up," and she puts her back on. It's like
Sassy
That's
McGonagall.
That was funny.
Waka waka.
That was
she was younger, right?
She's like she is when she's old still.
Yeah.
Remember this? Yeah, just not good. Star Wars prequel level stuff from this one.
Funny you say that.
Funny you should say Star Wars.
Why is that?
Very George.
Let me jump in.
Rob Yates will be doing number 9.
No.
Oh, I just guessed.
Robbie Yates?
Rob Yates.
David?
Rob Yates?
David Yates.
Who is that? Who is that?
No idea. Just pulled that name
George
out of nowhere.
Lucas.
Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald. Overall, I thought this movie was very for me.
You loved it then.
You know, I love the world of Harry Potter,
Mm.
and
I forgot to say that. Me too.
I do like all the characters on a base level, but as far as functioning within the story, there was too many characters. Like, too much jumping around. I agree with what you guys are saying.
Characters.
There's even creature characters that can't speak, and we're giving
Yeah,
screen.
no sense at all.
And also, have you guys actually read the Fantastic Beasts, the little book? It's like a little tiny.
No.
No.
I haven't actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I have it.
You two have.
Mm.
Interesting.
They mentioned a kappa.
Yeah.
And nothing came of that. I was
Nothing.
like, what? That's
is
the most
that?
terrifying.
I was super disappointed about that.
The like Japanese water monster looked like a fish, but it had like a little bowl of water on its head, kind of thing.
Yeah, that thing was pretty creepy.
That's like one of the most terrifying things from that book,
Yeah.
and I don't know why even show it. I don't know.
It was pointless.
Anyways,
Milking that guy.
yeah, I think this. I mean, this screenplay is written by J.K. Rowling, right? I do think this reliance
Probably the worst thing
on
she's written.
Yeah.
all the characters, like creating such a small universe, and having all the characters be related is very Star Warsy. Very George Lucasy, right?
We'll get to that in spoiler, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
That's one huge thing.
I like, from the first film, one of the reasons I liked the first Fantastic Beasts, I thought it was
what
good.
did you think of it?
It was good.
Mhm.
Wasn't amazing, but good. We get introduced to all these brand new characters, right? And the only character that, we previously knew, for the most part, I believe, was Newt.
Yeah,
right?
we'd
Just based
heard
on
of
his
Newt.
name.
Heard of him,
Yeah.
yeah.
We only heard his name as the author of this book. That's it.
Yeah.
We'd heard of Grindelwald.
Yeah.
He was
And-
mentioned in the first one, I think.
Yeah, just, again, he was very briefly in that film, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Sort
But
of.
this film,
Scooby-Doo.
we get the Lestrange connection, we get Dumbledore with the McGonagall connection. It starts to be a little bit nostalgia reliant, I guess.
Yeah.
And
A
You
crush.
said it.
and it's sad.
Yes.
I love this universe. I don't know. I just can't oversay it. I just love the universe that's being created. I love seeing the American
Ministry of Magic.
Ministry of Magic, the
That was
French
cool.
Ministry of Magic.
Yeah.
Doesn't it
Seeing
all
these
feel
worlds.
lazy though? To it, like there's a lot of it that just feels so lazy to me.
Yes, but to me as a fan, it's just so cool to see. I just want
I
to
do
see
agree.
that.
I do agree.
Kingsman syndrome.
And I don't mind. I do like Jude Law. I did think Johnny Depp was good as Grindelwald.
Woo!
I thought he was
that's really
serviceable.
Oh, why did
He's
you?
good. Good. See, not great, but good.
But that is great.
Serviceable in there.
He served his purpose. But I do think that because there was this big list of characters here that we have to deal with, that
it's like work.
I think where it should have focused, I think his story kind of took a bit of a hit, right? Because we get the brother storyline, the Theseus thing.
Yeah.
Fine, it doesn't really need to be there. Nagini, I don't know where that's going to fit in.
I have another theory as well.
Didn't understand.
Jacob and Queenie, that storyline. Cut it out. I don't know.
Wrong again.
The love triangle with Lista.
I don't know. Just keep Catherine Waterston and Eddie Redmayne with Grindelwald and Dumbledore and Credence is in there. I don't know. That's fine for me. Just do that, right? That's fine to me. But I just think it's sort of the development of the characters suffers. They're all base level. You know what I mean? And,
there's not enough time to get into anything, but
you get a little bit.
Much. It's like I care, but not enough to be invested.
Yeah. You get a little bit more backstory with Grindelwald, Dumbledore, but overall, it just wasn't deep enough. And I do think that these prequel films suffer from the Fantastic Beasts part of it. I do think this universe has great beasts, great creatures that they can use in the films. But I think focusing on Newt Scamander, who isn't that interesting, is a big problem for this franchise.
I don't think he's
not.
Character.
He's a bit of a pathetic lead character.
He's not even the main character.
A bit.
Yeah.
What is?
I mean, it's not to say that you can, do a film as just do Harry Potter again with that same hero character, archetype. But yeah, I just don't think he's very interesting just as a character. Just with all the animals. And it's not.
It's crazy to me because Dumbledore made him more interesting to me than he ever was in the first one.
Right.
And he's like, you ask if a thing is right, not whether you should or shouldn't do it. I was like, that's actually really interesting. But they were like, he's just goes along with what happens in the film.
I just
didn't, let's do this. He's like, okay, let's go.
I didn't feel like there was much of an arc to his character, and I don't know if maybe that's something that they plan on stretching the 5
films,
movies.
Right. So we'll get there.
But I think that
he picked a side.
Pardon me?
He picked a side.
He did pick a side.
5 films?
He doesn't pick sides, but
he picked a side.
He did pick a side.
Let's
give our ratings.
Let's give our ratings, and we can get to some spoiler talk. I mean, I got a whole family tree here, so we'll get to that. I'm going to start off. I'm going to go. This is oh man, this is tough.
Right?
I mean, I'm going to say it's a 3.
Ooh.
3 out of 5.
That's generous.
I am going
5.
Heavy 3.
Confident.
No.
Go higher.
Peter.
For me, it gets half a point for Harry Potter music.
A real, sir.
And half a point for a good
No,
Dumbledore.
we don't use points.
Half a real.
So I'm going to give it a 1.
1 what?
1.
Real?
1 real.
One
It's okay.
1 real.
He's new.
There we go.
Noob.
1 out of 5. That's abomination in your own words.
Yes, yeah.
Phil.
I just found out that there are 5 films in this universe, and this is the second. And that's an apt score.
J.K.
2
Rowling
reels out
said
of
in
5.
2016 there will be 5 films.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
2.
Just
out
like
of 5.
this is the second movie.
This is the
2 out
second
of
of the 5 alleged. This is
So the 5th one's a 5. We're gonna get there. We'll get there.
the first one wasn't a 1 though.
Oh, see, your scale doesn't make sense.
So
I just said it was
Pick a
apt.
number
and
out
of
it's
five.
five.
Adam.
I too am disgusted to learn that there's going to be 5 movies. I was arguing all day. I thought it was a trilogy. We're sure it's 5?
Oh,
Yeah, confirmed.
I bet J.K. Rowling wants it to be 5, and we'll see how it does at the box office. Right? Continuing. I think
Probably will be 10.
I think Warner
Said and
Brothers.
done.
I think Warner Brothers, wants to make money. And I think
It's fair.
I think they set out to start. They're like, let's see if we can do it in 3, right? But if it does well, and if J.K. Rowling has an arc in mind, right? 'Cause she's doing the screenplays.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they would branch it over 5. Obviously, they want to make the most.
If
money
she does the
possible.
next screenplay,
so
I won't be going to
disappointed.
see it. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
I'm
she
so
will be.
disappointed.
Yeah, you know what?
I'll give it a 2, by the way. Just so
Two.
you know. 2 out of 5.
Wow.
To what?
2 reels.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Thank you.
There it is. Full circle, baby.
Fair warning, if you haven't seen Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald, we will be discussing some spoiler aspects, so you've been warned. We don't have a spoiler graphic, but I imagine it's there.
Maybe Pete can edit this in. I'm sure he won't.
Is that possible?
So let's just jump right into it. I guess we should talk about
The
Credence.
Clearwater Revival.
Yeah,
Good
great band. No, his lineage, his origin.
Mm.
So I will say this is one of the things that I think is definitely a problem with this film, is that exposition dump. We get from Yusuf Kama, I believe his name is.
Yes.
Lita Lestrange's half brother, who had the unforgivable oath. What was it? No,
The
unbreakable
vow.
vow. Sorry, not the unforgivable curse.
Different universe.
I'm getting it mixed up. He just dumps all this exposition, and so does Zoe Kravitz as well, as far as what happens. So
I like how it's back to back too, so you get
Just
the
back to back,
process.
yeah.
You're just like, this is the story, and then it's like, actually
actually,
this is the story. It's like, why didn't you just tell
They
me
could
the
have cut out
story?
the first story. Like,
Exactly.
don't give me the fake story.
Nah.
Just give me the real story.
Smoke
just
screen,
tell
bro.
me what happened.
Smoke
Or give
screen.
that to me early, and then
Would have
just
got
be like,
away with
actually,
it too. Wasn't for you meddling wizard kids.
wasn't for you meddling screenwriter.
Fuck.
Anyways, the first story
Actually, here's
is
the
that
story.
Corvus Lestrange, who's Lita Lestrange's father, uses the Imperious curse on
You're a fan of these movies,
Lorena
right?
Kama. Yes.
Okay.
Just give me. I got a lot. There's a lot of names here. Okay.
I need you.
Let's
'cause
get
I-
Basically rapes her, and as a result, you get Lita Lestrange. You get Zoe Kravitz, right?
What?
Yeah.
Was that said in this movie?
Yeah.
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 You use the Imperious curse. That's mind control, right?
Right. I
Against her will.
don't remember, but okay.
Rape.
Then they had the baby.
Wizard rape. Got it.
And then after that, he has a child with an unnamed woman in this film, and you get what Lita thought was Credence, right? But what Yusuf thought
Lita,
was Credence. Sorry, and what happens is they get sent to America, and in order to stop the baby from crying, she switches out the babies, right, with another baby.
Typical kid.
Classic move.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Sisters do
That's
that.
what I would
And
do.
as it would happen, the boat sinks, and they don't get time to switch the babies back.
I was assuming
Yeah.
that was the Titanic. Was I the only one who thought that?
Yeah, I got that vibe too.
I got
Is it?
Titanic
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah.
The
Felt like
timelines
that.
work.
Yeah,
I'm in.
we can get into the timelines in a second.
It was
Leo?
about 12 years before the happening of this film. So.
Yeah.
Wizard
would make
Titanic.
sense.
Well, it was 27 the film, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Titanic, or was it 1904?
1903, 1904. But that would, like, she
Okay,
would
it's
be
20.
about 28
Yeah,
in
no,
the film. Like, that seems accurate.
Yeah, that's about right.
Timelines check out. So the Titanic sinks,
Remind me of that.
and
Thank
Corvus
God.
Lestrange Jr. dies, and the unnamed baby survives, right? And
The boy
which
who
is an
lives.
interesting enough premise, which also very Star Warsy, very Rey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that final
You
scene.
don't have your parents don't matter, doesn't matter. Your parents are nobodies.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this
Just
is
the best.
very Star Warsy, right? But at the end, we get a reveal of Grindelwald revealing to Credence that, it was sort of foreshadowed earlier when Dumbledore says
With the
there's this
Phoenix.
legend of the Phoenix, and that Phoenix protect Dumbledore's or whatever, or go to Dumbledore's in need or whatever. And Grindelwald reveals to Credence that he is in fact a Dumbledore, and that his brother is trying to kill him, or get him, or whatever.
So,
So there's a lot to unpack there.
yeah.
Hmm.
First of all, Grindlewald is lying.
I do agree with
Let's
you.
put that out there right now.
Okay.
Old
Manipulation.
For a couple of reasons.
Old
A, he needs someone to kill Grindelwald, or he needs someone to kill Dumbledore
For him.
because he can't due to the blood pact or blood oath or jar thing. So he can't kill him. So he needs someone who is
He needs
powerful
Credence.
to kill him. So he lies to him to say that this is your brother and he's trying to kill you. So that he'll send him on a murder mission to kill Dumbledore.
Interesting theory. So what you're suggesting is that Credence's real parents are nobodies.
No,
You
there's
think-
somebody else, but I'll get to that in 1 second.
Obi-Wan, perhaps?
Yes. No.
I'm in.
It's
Perhaps she means old.
It's
Wizard?
yeah. So a lot of times Credence was in trouble. A lot of times in the last movie, i.e., belt whipping and crazy adoption lady.
Yes.
So and no one ever came to save him. including a phoenix. So
They saved his hair.
yeah, they did save his hair.
Remember the bowl cut? It was
Yeah.
hideous.
How can you forget the bowl cut?
Thank God they saved that.
Yeah, they managed to fix that.
But
Now-
please,
I think
continue.
that I think that he is a Riddle,
Sorry?
a Tom Marvolo Riddle Sr.
You mean a Gaunt at this time?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Can we get some
I mean, but there's no
explanation?
proof.
There's no proof, but that would
Non-modern.
explain why Nagini is in the family, like with the Riddle family.
We've got 3 more movies to explain that.
I know. I'm just saying that's why I think that's.
But is that because
Interesting. So
wasn't
that's Ty's theory.
yeah? But
What
wasn't
does that
Voldemort's
mean? What's a
dad a
gaunt?
muggle?
Can
which means
Marvel
that
Gaunt, is that right? That was that his father? Am I getting it mixed
I
up?
believe
no
that's his
Riddle.
father.
Riddle. The name Riddle,
Riddle
was
was his
a
father's
muggle
name.
name,
Oh, okay, right.
which is why he changed his name to Voldemort.
Gotcha.
I don't know now. I might have to look into that.
Yeah, I think
Interesting theory.
so. But
But you think
it
he's
is
connected
interesting.
somehow to?
Yeah.
I think
the
so
riddles.
too. That would be really the only explanation for Nagini, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous.
I like that what she was. I didn't know that. Like she was that creature that like was becoming the boa.
Yeah,
I thought that was interesting.
honestly, I didn't know I didn't know her intentions during the movie, and so for me, Nagini is this purely evil snake in the Harry Potter world, right? And now she's this human with emotions that we're gonna have to understand through the next couple movies, and
Changes the
Weird is a
when you see
general term.
Nagini in the original movies. Right?
yeah, I mean it
Generous.
does. I think that honestly, I think J.K. Rowling hasn't. I don't want to say this and
Don't say she
sound
hasn't
bad,
thought it
but
through,
I don't
Yeah.
think she has thought it through in intelligent ways.
Oh.
I don't, because I don't see any way how to make this work, and I don't see logically why a lot of what's been done has been needed, other than the fact to give people that shock factor of, oh my god, they said Nagini's name in the trailer. I
Twitter
need to see
broke.
what that's about.
Twitter
Here's
literally broke.
here's what I think in response to that. I think that J.K. Rowling does know,
Ooh.
but it was just poorly executed in the film, so that when it's explained, it doesn't make sense to the viewer.
Well,
right?
one thing,
like
one of
that.
my
I think-
biggest
she
disappointments, one of my biggest disappointments with this movie
Is the
is that it's written by J.K. Rowling and directed by
You don't
David
think?
Yates.
I'll say you don't think that she's a good writer.
No, let me finish. So
Right,
one-
because she's
my
like a
biggest
screenwriter.
my biggest disappointment is that it was written by J.K. Rowling and directed by David Yates or Robert Yates, what you call him.
His alter ego.
Yeah, it's disappointing because these are two people who I think should have such. I mean, obviously J.K. Rowling, right, who wrote the Harry Potter
She has
movies,
some pull.
right? But she should have the ultimate knowledge of this universe, right?
does.
And so, to me, as a fan, when I feel cheated out of my money, out of my $18, because I don't feel,
You paid $18.
yeah, I saw it
IMAX.
in
I'm so
IMAX.
sorry.
Yeah.
It was good in 3D.
No.
I saw it in 3D.
Yeah, we didn't see it in 3D,
I saw
but
it in AV.
I felt so cheated out of my money. I felt so the movie was so convoluted is the best word that I can describe. There were so many times where I had to like think to myself, am I missing something? I wish I had someone to speak to during the movie where I could ask, is something going on, because I was confused, and then I realized that it was just the movie.
Let me say this: in the first 7 books,
Yes.
they don't actually, or we'll go to the movies actually, because that's more relatable to the podcast. In the first 8 movies, before the 8th movie, do they ever mention that Harry is a Horcrux?
No.
So they kind of tie all these little things into it that you don't notice.
Yeah.
And then
Sure.
at the end, it's a huge reveal.
Sure. But what's beautiful?
Same argument could be made.
But what's beautiful about the Harry Potter movies is that we're introduced to this new universe, and it's through the eyes of this boy who's never been
I see where
exposed
he's
to the
going.
universe. And so each story has its own arc, which is fantastic. And at the end, you have this beautiful web of story arcs that blend into one, and it's the most incredible thing. And to
It's
me,
like a serial, right? Because each movie is a year. And
Yeah.
It's a set arc. And
Yeah,
like you said,
and I think
it's an
that-
adventure in
yeah.
1 year, and then it's could be a standalone adventure.
every single film could be standalone.
Right.
I think, and I don't know. I just think these movies were just lazy. Like no mage and no magique for the French.
No
like
magique.
the creativity in the Harry
Not
Potter universe is what makes it beautiful. These terms, Muggle, Galleons. these things that are fabricated, and then you go to Nomad, and it's like such an Americanized. It's like, really, you couldn't get a little more creative with what you call it.
In the first one, the wizards, like, I can't remember who it was, but they're in a fight and they shoot each other and they have that like the spells touch and they have that push and pull.
Yeah.
But like that was for Harry and Voldemort because they were so connected.
Right.
But they brought that into the first movie and they just like let it be there because it's like, oh, it looks amazing.
Yeah, and one thing
that's not like
Fantastic Beasts 1?
Yeah, but that's not like those two wizards.
Yeah, their
don't
wands
have
were
so
connected.
Because like Harry and Voldemort had the phoenix feather in their wands. And
no, those weren't the same wands.
But like they are connected.
They're
much
connected,
more
not
than
their
the
wands.
other wizards, but they put that into the first movie. It's like,
Who did that in the first movie?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to point out.
There is the boring.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out quickly before I forget. Like an example of what I believe to be lazy writing, the Obliviate curse just didn't work on a Muggle.
Preach, my brother.
I think it was because Queenie just told everything to him, basically, or reversed the curse or something.
But if you let's say hypothetically your whole memory is wiped, and then someone explains to you there's a whole wizarding world, and then I also, just before you chime in, just one more point. He makes the comment to say that the Obliviate curse only gets rid of negative memories. But when
that can't be
Hermione,
when Hermione obliviated her parents, when I heard that, I was like, "This is the same woman who wrote Hermione," which is one of the most beautiful scenes of that movie. Yeah. Her protecting her family by wiping their memories, one of the biggest sacrifices made in the movies that's not even talked about. And then now you just drop that it only erases bad memories.
Well, she's not keeping her own rules.
The argument
is
could
frustrating.
be made that Queenie does have a mind control sort of power that like she could her explaining it. Yeah, but there is it's her.
She has a certain
influence.
It's not defined.
Speech to her didn't even make sense in the context of like her character motivations.
I want to touch her.
Phil, we're not talking about that.
One at a time, Phil. He's
I can only defend so
defense.
much. Okay. She has like some sort of mind control or mind reading ability that is not perfectly defined. So the argument could be made that her explaining this to him could be triggering things in his mind. I don't know. I'm just saying that it didn't bother me that much.
It's just that he said it didn't work.
Yeah, see that? Okay.
It's like,
I can't argue
that. Really?
It's more in principle. I do want to touch on one thing, and that is Queenie's motivations.
She's crazy, man.
She flipped pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
Shockingly. And yeah, she's crazy.
That's her character trait. She's the crazy one.
It didn't make any sense to me. No. I thought it was a break in character for her.
Or
like if she really loved Jacob, why would she leave him for Grindelwald?
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
And she just yelled at him,
or she can see
so aggressively out of nowhere,
but out of love.
I don't know.
Smoke screen. She's getting close to Grindelwald.
Snape
That's an
style.
assumption that
could be
is
interesting.
not set out by the film.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You think Credence will in fact kill Dumbledore in the next one?
No.
How do you think that's going to go?
What are you going to do for the next two movies then?
Do you know that Dumbledore gets the Elder Wand, right? So he has to kill its last owner or disarm his last owner.
Which happens in 1945, and this is set in 27.
Phil, I can't. Okay,
I just want to know that's
I'm aware of the timelines. I don't want to talk about
them. That's 18 years.
It confuses me.
For 18 years of film.
Let me pose something to you guys because I've heard of this other theory. I didn't even think of it, but it makes a lot of sense. Okay, I was reading about potential theories.
This guy went down the rabbit hole.
So you guys know about Ariana Dumbledore. He was mentioned briefly in the film, and it's been a rumor that, not rumor, but sort of suggested that she was also an
Obscurus.
Yeah.
And a theory that was posed online is the thing that confused me as far as the timelines, and agreeing with you, Peter, that J.K. Rowling is sort of messing with her own logic that she sort of rules that she's laid out, and especially with the lore that's been established as far as the Dumbledores, right? So if Grindelwald is not lying, which would be weird if he was lying, I think. Based on
using deception,
the fact that they're using it as a big reveal at the end of the movie to say that he's lying.
Yeah, it was set up in a way that it didn't feel like a lie. It felt like a genuine drop the mic and walk
because
away
it was somewhat set up with the Phoenix.
The Phoenix.
So for that to be a flat out lie would seem a bit false. It would just feel completely false. But the theory is that Ariana's Obscurus somehow, because I guess we saw in the first Fantastic Beasts that Newt was able to get an Obscurus from a girl, and the girl had died, and he had the Obscurus, right?
Yeah.
So there is potential for an Obscurus to still outlive its former occupant, if you will.
Okay, so what do you think?
So the theory is that Ariana's Obscurus has actually taken over Credence, and that when Grindelwald says your brother is trying to kill you, that he's talking to his Obscurus or some aspect of him.
Interesting.
That is actually Ariana.
So how would that have leached onto Credence?
Unknown, but could potentially be touched on in later films.
Because that seems like a huge leap to me.
I don't think so. I think the bigger leap is saying that there's a fourth Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any
That's
sense.
why it's a lie.
But that doesn't make any sense.
Very good point. Aberforth, Albus, and Ariana.
And then Credence.
No, but they explain that his name was Aurelius.
Oh,
right? Aurelius Dumbledore.
Confirmed.
Right?
Confirmed.
Little side note, what's his name? Who played the first Dumbledore in the first two films?
R.I.P.
Richard
Harris.
Richard Harris.
Played Marcus Aurelius in
Richard
Gladiator.
Griffiths.
Oh.
Hey!
Interesting.
Fun
Interesting little tidbit. But yeah, that's one theory. And I think that makes a lot of sense because if you look at the timelines, it doesn't make sense. Like
I don't look at the timelines.
When would Credence or Aurelius be born? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
Based on their parents, Percival Dumbledore, who ended up going to Azkaban at the wrong time, it didn't make sense. Like, when would he be born?
Yeah.
So I do think that's an interesting theory, and it will explain a lot of the things that are going on. But anyways, it's one theory.
I will consider that.
I do think that J.K. Rowling does know what she has a big family tree laid out and a big story, but we don't know, and I just don't think it was executed very well. But anything you guys want to mention?
My girlfriend brought this up today. We saw it, and she was like, "Are you going to talk about the Dumbledore in the Mirror of Erised thing?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Well, him and Grindelwald are like holding hands for like the Blood Pact." She's like, there was that whole thing right after the seventh book that like J.K. Rowling was writing something and that like Dumbledore was gay, and like she was like, "Is Grindelwald going to be like his spurned like ex-boyfriend or something like that?" And I was like,
"Yeah,
is that why they have?"
It's pretty overt.
I think I think it's pretty obvious.
I did
that. He said
I totally missed
friends.
that.
Yeah. We're
closer than brothers.
Which is interesting because I do believe David Yates was the one that said they weren't going to be touching on his sexuality in this film.
Not that that's the issue, but I was like Grindelwald and Dumbledore having that relationship,
but they did.
But what's
he said they weren't going to.
Yeah, what else?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Maybe
I think their relationship actually could be such an incredible, and I think you're the one that brought up that you wanted to see more that relationship cultivated more. Yeah. What an interesting story. Yeah. What an interesting story. And powerful. I really hope.
Here's why I think the Ariana Obscurus thing and Credence connection makes sense, because if you guys know how Ariana Dumbledore died, was a duel between Grindelwald and Dumbledore and actually Aberforth as well. Mm-hmm. A three-way duel which resulted in Ariana's death. And I do think that is sort of a pivotal moment in the lore of this universe, and I do think they would probably be remiss if they didn't, I don't know, flashback to that or show that in some regard.
Well, I think it's going to be a flashback.
I think it's possible
because to me it's weird that
showing lots of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Do you guys find it odd at all that Dumbledore's the greatest wizard at his young age as well?
The goat.
And he's teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Arguably, that's the best job you could do as the most powerful teacher.
I agree. I just found it odd. I wish. See,
why was he an Auror,
I think.
Right?
Well, I just think Dumbledore, in the Harry Potter movies, he's put on this pedestal as, the greatest wizard in the universe.
Yeah.
And I wish that seeing the younger Dumbledore, we really saw him, or I'm hoping that it at least develops in the storyline where we really see him struggle to become this great wise wizard. I sort of felt like he was there already, where he was already great and he was already wise.
I feel raw potential there.
I didn't see the young side of him come out, the youthful side of him come out, which I was really hoping for, to be honest.
I disagree with you in the sense that he told Lita, is that her name, Lita Lestrange? He's like, don't let regret consume you. because like regret has consumed me for years. I think that was like, for me, that was like the emotional young kid who's like, I made some mistakes.
Yeah, but I think that's something that he would say
that's
to
why I want to
Harry,
be a teacher,
and that's something
not an aura, because I want to tell kids
in a manipulative way.
the
He's
right
very
way.
manipulative.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
wish that he was younger.
no, I wish
He is, like,
they
45.
didn't make him seem perfect because he still felt perfect.
But he's Jude Law.
Jude
He's
Law's
perfect.
literally
I
the
forgot.
perfect.
He's
I
right,
forgot.
yeah.
Sorry, my mistake.
I think you wanted a little too much depth, and the
Johnny
movie,
Depp.
the movie's not good enough, so that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did feel that the movie was an
I
abomination.
think you wanted a
so-
better movie.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I can
So did
confirm.
I.
Maybe that's the problem with J.K. writing it and David Yates directing
Well,
it.
that
is
was my
because
big
they
problem
have that,
with
like,
it.
separation of like she wrote the Harry Potter movies and he gets somebody to screenwrite them, then they become movies with that like two minds so close
Because she
together.
didn't like do the screenplay for the other ones. Did
No, it
she?
was adapted,
No,
and
yeah,
and
so
she helped
maybe
in the
that's
process.
part of the problem.
Maybe
is
that
that
might be
they're
a better-
too close
Yeah.
together
Yeah.
to like, and they're just throwing things.
But I think the
too many
problem
cooks
is
in the
when
pot.
she writes a screenplay, you have to hold it to the standard of the book, right? Like Cursed Child came out, and it's like no one like it was bad, but nobody was ever really faulted J.K. Rowling or even really considers it a part of the Harry Potter universe. Like I've never had a conversation with anybody and been like, oh well, how about this and the Cursed Child? Like it's all just so
I've
irrelevant.
never even heard a word about the Cursed Child.
Yeah,
I can't
and that's what I
believe
mean.
that an 8th Harry Potter book exists and no one has ever brought it
Yeah,
up to
and
me.
I think the big reason is because J.K. Rowling didn't write it, right? But
She came up with the story and then
yeah,
Jack
like
Thorne wrote
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that she's actually written these movies, I mean, they have to be held to the same standard as the book, and because they are, they just fall so short.
That's fair.
This movie suffers from living in the shadow of Harry Potter. That's why it's a 1-star movie to me.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that's why I hated The Hobbit. I thought all the Hobbit movies were bad.
Yeah.
And
Oh, they were lazy.
same for, well, if you think those were lazy, I don't know. These were on another level.
Really? You're gonna try and wind me up right now?
Well, is there anything else you guys want to mention specifically?
I found all the camera work and not the set pieces to be very dark
What?
and very close and not enjoyable to watch and static. And I just was, I think, like
The
the set,
camera work?
Didn't
yeah,
look great.
like it was like dark and shadowy and like I get that they were going for that ominous tone of like Grindlewald is out and he's escaped, but it just didn't
Yeah, I
sit right
agree.
with me.
Phil-
It was not enjoyable to watch as the first one, which had those wide shots, big sets, running around, motion, dynamic camera
Sure.
work, like great atmosphere. Didn't have that in this movie.
What
And
was the
it's
problem you had with the first movie that carried on into this one?
Newt Scamander isn't a main character. In my
Oh, okay,
opinion.
that was it. Okay.
Like, isn't she good enough? Like, a interesting
Isn't-
enough person?
Doesn't have enough going on
Strong
in
enough
his own
screen
life
presence.
Yeah.
to be a main character.
We did get Niffler action though,
We got some huge
cute.
Niff action.
like little mini
No, no,
platypus that likes
Oh.
Yeah.
Cute.
cute AF.
Loved it.
Hide
Yeah.
the teaspoons.
Hide
Yeah.
the teaspoon.
That was a good line. That was a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll do it
Gross.
for our review of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
It's a short one.
Ty, where can people find you?
People can find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Upper Late Podcast. You can also find me on Letterboxd at Upper Ty if I ever actually add anything to it.
You won't.
Peter, where can people
you
find
can
you? Do you
add
have,
it
you have
for
a
me.
place
I'm
online?
I'm on Letterboxd at Borrowjanis.
Can you spell that for the people?
Yeah, BAROGIANNIS.
Greek freak.
Greek free.
Phil.
Sounds Italian.
Letterbox, the Wicked Swami. Be on there, posting stuff. So I'll follow you. Actually, I didn't know you were
Sure.
on there.
Yeah, let's follow each other.
You can follow me on Twitter at Franey25 and on Instagram and Letterboxd at UpRealAdam.
You can find myself, Scott, on Letterboxd at UpRealScott. And yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it. Leave a comment below in the comment
I'll be
section
there.
if you want to join our
Most of the
discussion about Fantastic Beasts 2. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. As always, keep it real.